Now I want to slowly but gently move in the direction of including emotions in our assessment of deliberate and kind of hard thinking. And in particular, I want to do that in the case of counterfactuals. Counterfactuals themselves are actually a pretty hard thing to think about, right? Because counterfactuals are about what ifs. Counterfactuals are about thinking what would have happened if something had gone differently. In other words, it's about something that didn't happen. So it requires a lot of brain power to generate these thoughts. And if something that didn't happen would have been the typical thing or the desired outcome, and this might leave you wondering, what would have happened if, what if? And because you do remember prospect theory from the last installment of this course, you do know that if we actually miss out on something that we would have desired, this feels like a loss to us. So losing something that's kind of very close to grasp, that can feel like actually there's a great inconsistency. It can hurt. It can even make us feel anxious because we actually were this close to getting it. So we had some kind of an expectation of getting the typical or desired thing. And now that it didn't happen, this loss, it actually hurts. And it might even hurt more than it would have been joyful for us to get the thing that we desired. Now, here's an example of this from real life. You can see a silver medalist not quite being as happy about winning that silver medal as even the person who won third place, the bronze medal, or the person who won first place. And here's just another illustration of this. Coming in second really hurts. And we can also take a look at this with not just the anecdotal evidence, but a bit more factual evidence. So we have some happiness ratings of people's facial expression, depending on whether they won a silver or a bronze medal. And participants in this study rated the immediate happiness, like right after the competition was done, higher for bronze medalists than for silver medalists, and that same was true for people on the medal stand. So people who are on the medal stand and they win a silver medal, they make less happy faces than on the bronze stand, or rather, these are rated as less happy. Another example about counterfactual thinking is this quite prominent study, and participants were exposed with this text. So participants read that Paul has shares in company A, considered switching to B but did not. Now he knows that switching would have paid $1,200 more. And on the other hand, we have George, who owns shares in company B. He considered switching to A and did so, but now he knows that not having switched would have paid $1,200 more. That means he lost $1,200 by switching. And participants would be asked who is more upset, Paul or George, and you can ask yourself that. Who do you think would have been more upset? Also, if you keep prospect theory in the back of your mind. Well, 92% think that George would be more upset because in this case, action actually is more regrettable than inaction. It's relatively easy to undo an action by mentally erasing it. You get closer to your expectation. Undoing inaction, mentally, you have to add the action that is not taken. So that would be the more computationally expensive thing. All in all, that means counterfactuals can hurt, in particular when it's about having done something that now post hoc you regret, rather than having to construe what would have happened if you had done something but you didn't. So overall, this session therefore illuminated first of all, the general idea of a cognitive dual process theory, and then gave you some examples on how even when we try to think stuff through properly, there are some mistakes in how we do that. So positive test strategy and illusory correlations was one part, egocentricity bias, in particular talking about spotlight effect and false consensus effect was another side. And then counterfactual thinking, which in itself is pretty difficult to do, was our last example that kind of bridges the world between thinking hard about cold, hard evidence and coming closer to the direction of more emotion-laden thinking that is more hot and fast and so on. And counterfactuals can feel like that because emotions play a big role here in thinking what would have happened if I had gotten the thing that I really desired. So this is it for this session. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you again in the next installment of Social Cognition.